Good people. We're back for another episode of the NFL Pregame Report. Got to do a little background work right here, real quick. But you know me, it's nothing. There we go. It's nothing. Just because life's wild, but it's football season. There's a game on now,
Yep.
and I'm sure we'll be getting updates, especially from said TJ maybe sneaking in a watch on that. I have a certain thing that I do on game days. Because the Eagles play today, I don't watch the early game because I'm a creature of habit. I believe that what I do affects the team because I'm delusional, and that's okay.
What time is your game?
1 p.m. Eastern
Oh man.
against the New York Football Giants.
Which turns out to be a good
We will
game
talk
now,
about it.
right? Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. But I would say that they're not going to lay down and roll over. It is a divisional game, but I won't go any further than that.
Mm.
Oh boy, won't go into any wildness. At least not yet. It's too early for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined today beside me by my man TJ, Steelers fan extraordinaire. What's going on, TJ?
I'm just confused like the rest of Steelers Nation. We'll get into
That's
that
right.
And our own personal Skip Bayless himself.
We're back. We're back.
Mr. Said Green.
I got the big D out today.
No Diddy.
No Diddy D. This is the Denver D.
Yeah.
This is the Denver D.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people knew it wasn't the Diddy D. That's all. I wanted to get the wrong idea here on the pregame report.
This is the different white stallion.
Woo! Wow. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna take it to New York on that one and just say pause. But we'll start off. We'll start off with let's talk. We had a couple of wide receivers that switched teams this week, right? Davante Adams was traded back with his buddy, the Mushroom Man himself, Mr. A. Aaron Rodgers, to the Jets so that they can reunite and re-sync up. Guys, thoughts on the Davante Adams trade? Because let's just do it this way. Davante Adams, also Amari Cooper, also for a third-round pick, was traded to the Buffalo Bills. So, guys, your thoughts on the two wide receivers in their trade? And my second question is, who is now in the best situation of those two receivers? All right, TJ, we'll let you break it down first because I have a feeling we need to give you a little time before we get to our next topic to kind of ease yourself into that topic.
Well, the Adams trade, let's be real and honest here. It was Aaron Rodgers. He pulled the strings. He made that happen. Is it a bad move? No, of course not. Adams, it's not like he's completely over the hill, busted, everything else. He's definitely going to be an improvement for the team, but it was Aaron Rodgers that led the way on that crusade. When you look at Amari Cooper to Buffalo Bills, that was a collective decision because they need a good receiver. They need a solid, starting wide receiver there. Their little experiment with, kind of just let's mix in a bunch of guys who, don't have a lot of experience. It's not doing bad, but they're definitely not where they should be. So it's a better move, in my opinion, and a better fit for Amari Cooper because it's just a better situation. You have Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills are not a bad team. They're in the playoff hunt and the playoff race. The Jets, in my opinion, a little bit more dysfunctional. And at least tonight should be, I don't know, they make a lot of stupid decisions apparently, but Pittsburgh should be double teaming him all night long because Rodgers is going to try and force some balls his way. So I think Amari Cooper definitely got the better end, and he's definitely going to help the team out more, in my opinion.
Okay. See it.
Yeah. Well, it's like Mike Tomlin said when the trade happened, right? Like they were planning for Davante Adams the week before against the Raiders, and now they're planning for him again. So they're definitely prepared for him, right? But I think who won this trade, and I'm gonna say two names. First, I think Jerry Jeudy won this trade because now Jerry Jeudy's number one, which is what he's wanted since he's gotten drafted. So go improve it. I mean, granted, that situation in Cleveland isn't the best. I mean, Deshaun Watson isn't playing the best, but I mean, he's number one now. So we'll see what happens over there. My other winner is Garrett Wilson. Teams are already reaching out to the Jets for trades, one to get Garrett Wilson on their team. And Garrett Wilson, not only that, he can see like the Jets is not the place for him to be. Sometimes you get drafted in places and you're like, like they drafted me, I'm gonna be loyal to them. I'll stay here. I won't look out anywhere else when I sign contract. So now he knows, even if he doesn't get traded when it's time for contract talks, he's out of there. He's watched them just bring in every single player from the Packers team besides the ball boys, and basically push him aside. He proved last year he's definitely the number one wide receiver. So teams have already been reaching out. We'll see what happens with that. If he does go to a team, it's going to be a team that's ready to throw him the ball and has a quarterback ready to go, right? So not only that, he's not going to be dealing with the after effects of when Aaron Rodgers leaves, right? Aaron Rodgers ain't playing for 4 or 5 years. He ain't playing for 2, 3 years, maybe even. He might not even play this full season. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, I do think I do kind of feel Aaron Rodgers won in this situation too. And it has me wondering, like, will he be the next quarterback to go coach? And maybe not even offensive coordinator, quarterback coach after he retires. Maybe straight up, the head coach or head scout or something, GM or something over personnel, just making moves like this because he's basically picking and choosing and putting pieces together how he sees fit already doing that role. So, yeah, so my winners, I got Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Wilson, and then and Aaron Rodgers.
But which of the two receivers that got traded?
Of the two receivers that got traded, I mean,
which is in a better situation now? That's the question, sir.
Well, you see Davante Adams for sure. He's going into a situation where he's about to be top dog. We saw how Aaron Rodgers tried to feed Adam Lazard, and it just wasn't clicking. So all he has to do is just show up and perform, 3/4 of the game, and he's going to get some solid yards that he wasn't getting, or at least he should, right? Unless teams are double teaming him, and then Garrett Wilson's starting to eat, right? I'd say Amari Cooper. Honestly, there are no wide receivers. They have wide receivers over there, I guess. I don't know their names. Keon Coleman's on my fantasy team, but I don't think he scored me points since.
Pretty good too,
huh?
Here's still there too.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, I feel like Amari Cooper's stepping into a role where he's going to automatically command the attention of Josh Allen, and pick up where he left off, being that deep threat. So, I think he's going to eat for sure. I don't know if he's going to play right away, but I think he won out of the two.
So for me, I think both moves make sense, right? I think Adams getting back with this guy makes a lot of sense, right? Him and Aaron Rodgers had a rapport. We saw it. We know that they'll probably continue. I'm a little different on the thinking if I'm Garrett Wilson. If I'm Garrett Wilson, okay, I'm not going to get the targets here. I'm not going to get the stats this year. Aaron Rodgers is probably, at best, one more year. After that, it's my team. Not whoever comes to the quarterback. It's my team. So I'll sit back. I'll learn from the old dudes. I'll get paid my rookie contract to play like a rookie. And it was time for me to get paid. Hey, if you want me to stay and be your guy, you see those top guys, what they're getting paid? I sat back and let you do this ridiculous Aaron Rodgers experiment for 2 years. So now when it comes time to pay me, you're going to factor that into my pay or I'm going to leave. So I think it's a great situation if you're Garrett Wilson because you get a chance to add a couple more years to your career because you're not going to take the banging this the rest of this year and next year if Aaron Rodgers plays next year. And then honestly, who's going to be the starter after you? It's got to be Garrett Wilson. So I think this definitely, I agree with Sid in the fact that this puts him in a great situation. And of course, teams are going to call, but I'm going to give up on a young talent that has shown that he can be the guy with subpar quarterbacks.
Yeah, but it's the Jets though, so
Yeah,
probably.
but even the Jets, it's a wide receiver. Now, if this was a running back, if this was a defensive player, they'd do something stupid. But everybody knows you need wide receivers. Even the Jets know that. Even the Panthers know that. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'll be good. But I do get the fact that people are going to call, and people may have a different opinion. But that's how I would think about it if I was Gary Wilson. As far as the Bills go, Amari Cooper walks into that room, and he's the elder statesman. He's a dude that everybody's going to be looking to, like, you the OG now. Like, what's up? So I think where he will benefit them the most is preparation, teaching these young guys how to do all the things that they may not have been doing because they didn't have that guy in there that was respected as an older receiver.
You don't think Stephon Diggs was teaching that?
Stephon Diggs, no. I think Stephon Diggs was
getting paid.
Doing Stephon Diggs things.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Thank you, TJ.
Beating people up. Allegedly.
It was going to go left, but, well, he's not the one that did the beating up.
Oh,
well, not that kind of beating up. He was trying to do another kind of beating up.
Mrs. Officer type beating.
Yeah. And if you've seen the gentleman that he was accused of trying to spend time with, play with. I don't think that particular gentleman would be adverse to a little play. And I'll just say that that's what I see when I look at the guy. I'm like, I don't think this guy would be adverse to a little play. He looks like he's played before he'll play again. So, but that's a whole different story. But I would have to agree with you guys that I think situational wise, Amari Cooper's in the best situation. Now, if we talk about quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers won this. And the reason I'll say this is because Josh Allen, you didn't have a guy who may make spectacular catches and drop the easiest balls. You have a guy who may drop the spectacular catches, make the easy catches. You may have a guy that catches nothing. You may have a guy that catches everything. And you won't know until you throw the ball. So I would say like Amari's lack of consistency with catching the ball is the biggest thing. You know, a lot of people would argue and say, oh, you know, maybe it's just because he was in Cleveland and blah, blah, blah. Perhaps. But if I'm an NFL player, I'm trying to get yards. I'm trying to get stats. I'm trying to get accolades. If I'm a wide receiver, I do that by catching the ball. And Amari Cooper leads the league in drops. So
like Hunter Henry just did.
Yeah,
if
you're paying a guy to be your number one, it doesn't matter what amount of money, but if you're focusing on a guy being your number, let's say it that way, and he comes in and he's dropped a lot of balls, that gets demoralizing for your quarterback. Then when your quarterback's pumping and he sees him going, he's like, this Mofolo, I'm taking old school. This Mofolo may not catch the ball. Let me throw it somewhere else. Right. But I think this will help the other receivers in that people will focus on Amari Cooper because you still have to scheme for him because, I mean, he catches about 50% of them of balls he probably should catch. He catches about 50%. But, I mean, it's still dangerous enough for you to feel like, oh, he might catch this one, so you have to pay attention. So I would say receiver-wise, he won. I would say quarterback-wise, Aaron Rodgers is the one who benefits most because Davante Adams is going to catch that ball more often than not. And he's probably going to make Garrett Wilson a better player. And he's going to probably alleviate the need for Allen Lazard whatsoever.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
not that wasn't already done.
That was the whole Aaron Rodgers was like, get this, pull that lever.
He should have never brought him in, man. He knew who Lazard was before he brought him in. He knew Lazard.
No, he thought he knew. He had to bring somebody, though. He was like, and he pumped him up. He thought it was going to work. He was like, don't worry, I'll make this work. He couldn't make it work.
He should have known better.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to have a first here on the NFL Pregame Report. All right? So, our next topic is going to be one that I feel like TJ may have a few things that he wants to say about, right? So, I'm going to give you the topic, and then we're going to secede or acquiesce the screen to TJ so that he can give you his thoughts.
Man, these Jags out here playing.
Oof. All right. So TJ and said and me afterwards. But we have to let TJ go first. We have to. Russell Wilson is starting at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this week.
Spicy.
So TJ, what are your thoughts, sir?
I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Ever since really the last probably 2 years of Big Ben's career, Mike Tomlin was trying to find somebody else, the GM, the whole organization trying to find somebody to replace him. They overdrafted on Kenny Pickett, who all you had to do was watch his game in college. He cannot read linebacker coverage. Oh, it's fine. He's going to come in. He's a homegrown kid. Now he's already out. He's crying over with the Eagles because he sucks. It is what it is. Every single quarterback prospect since the Mike Tomlin era has not panned out well. Now you finally get Justin Fields, someone who's showing promise. And no, he's not lighting up the numbers. He's not, running for MVP. But if you look statistically, he was set for a career best year, albeit, he's only been in the league for a few years, but still his completion percentage heavily improved. His accuracy, it's not perfect, but it's improved. He's gotten more confidence, and he actually was trusting the system that he was in. And even more importantly, he was covering up the fact that the team has a garbage offensive line. It was suspect going into the season. Now with even more injuries and everything else, it's a mess. It's a hot mess. So now you're going to put Russell Wilson in, who's not that mobile, who already spent 6 weeks with a calf injury, just to prove something. When odds are Justin Fields, he's playing the part, he's saying the right things, but he's pissed. We all are in Pittsburgh. And you know what, Mike Tomlin, honestly, while we're on a side note, you got to pull some guys in. You cannot be talking at a press conference saying mum's the word, and then 5 feet over, George Pickens is saying he's starting. That makes you look stupid. Just like this decision. I can't say I'm not going to watch the game because I know I am. That'd be a lie. But am I going to be mad if we get blown out in a loss? No, because you know what? This is on whoever had a part in the decision, whoever was the sole decision maker, whoever, unless Wilson goes out there and just plays lights out, there was no point to do this. At best, Russell Wilson, 2 to 3 year bridge quarterback. Fields, he has a shot to be our quarterback for the next 10 to 12 years, and potentially you just threw that all away. Congratulations.
All right. Sid, what are your thoughts, sir?
Let's ride. No, I feel that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe Mike Tomlin isn't the guru we all think he is, but he has not ever had a losing season.
The standard, yeah.
Yeah. And since Bill Belichick's out of there, he's the longest tenured, most winningest, most doing it. So you got to take his word, right? But then it's like, wait, what the what? And then, like we were saying off stream, I think there's just a situation of them, like, it's like backtracking, I guess, right? Like, you don't want to just like throw Russell Wilson to the wind after you brought him on, right? So you want to give him a chance to go ahead and go out there and at least try to earn a contract on another team, or maybe even a trade before the deadline. Who knows? But all you know is you went and you got your backup or your plan C or plan F or plan H in Russell Wilson. And then you woke up the next day and it was Christmas morning because you're able to get Justin Fields. So now they got Justin Fields because they didn't have to pay Russell Wilson when they got him. Probably the best veteran discount quarterback you could have gotten, right? So they go and get him. They didn't expect to get him. Now they have him. But then they got Justin Fields. Like, oh, man, this guy is the younger version of him. He does what he do better, right? At this point in juncture in time, but not as good. So Russell Wilson gets hurt. So now you're playing Justin Fields. He's out there being a serviceable quarterback, but not exactly lighting it up how you want it to be. You didn't want to have to play him so early. Whatever. Now Russell Wilson's not hurt anymore. yammering in your ear every day, yo, I can go out there, I can play, I'm good. You know, he has this little Russ fan group or whatever they have over there. I know they had a store out here, you know. But anyway, you got to put Russ in is what I'm getting at. You got to see what you got out of him. You got to let him play. You got to let other teams get a look at him, get some film, get some tape going. So at least he can get one more contract, because if you don't, he's probably just done after the season. And it looks like he could have went somewhere else. Maybe, you know, maybe I don't know. Maybe his homies trying to be good to homies, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just, you know, giving Russ his flowers, whatever it is. But it's a dumb move is what it is. It's going to throw off some chemistry, yeah. But, hey, they're professionals, right? Like, the team's going to go out and play with whoever the quarterback is. I don't think it'll throw them off too much.
So I thought about this, and I don't think this is a Mike Tomlin decision. If you recall, back in training camp, back in the preseason, all he kept saying was Russell Wilson is our starter if healthy. Obviously, Russell Wilson can't stay healthy, so this is not going to be a long-term move, I don't believe. If I'm TJ, I am pissed, right? But if you look at the other side of things, I watched a couple of the games, and I'll point to the Cowboys game. If Justin Fields was a little bit more developed, and this is not necessarily a Justin Fields thing, not saying he hasn't put in the work, not saying that he hasn't tried to make himself better, but if he was a little bit more developed, Pittsburgh wins that game, because Dak Prescott threw like 80 interceptions, right? Like, everybody talks about, he's the first quarterback to throw touchdowns on 2 days in one game. He's also the first quarterback to throw red zone interceptions on 2 games in the same day, 2 days in the same game, right? So he gave him a lot of opportunities. Feels right now, it's just not quite. It's like a little off, and not like in a bad way, like terrible or anything, but it's just a little off. So perhaps the thought process is, and again, I don't think this is a Tomlin thing, but maybe the thought process is let's let him sit a few games. Let's satiate the fans, who there's a lot of the fan base is like, we want Russell Wilson because Justin Fields can't get the job done.
That's right.
I will say this. Sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for, because you might get it. People like me said, TJ, a lot of people are here, a lot of people on the networks that we're part of. We understand Russ is not who you want him, who you think he is. Like, people romanticize Russell Wilson from what he was back in Seattle. Did you not see him in Denver?
Look at the same plays that. Well, yeah,
but that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's Russell's always the guy they wanted to see if they could bring in. I think they wanted to bring Justin Fields alone by letting him watch the game unfold from the side. See everything and understand, okay, this is what I need to do in these situations. And he didn't get that because of the Russell Wilson injury. He had to kind of be thrust in to be the starter. I do believe that they see him as the future, but they're just saying, look, let's put him in for a couple of games. Let's see what he does. If he can spark the offense, cool. If he can't, hey, he can go right back and sit on the bench and wear his uniform hurt and wear his headset and be your coach in your headset. Right?
That's right.
So I think this dude is taking every opportunity to take shots at Russ.
I'm not mad. I don't think it'll throw the Steelers off too much, honestly, because I think
it'll open it up a little bit more.
Yeah, they're really similar. They're really similar in their playing styles. I mean, I feel like Justin Fields is a younger version of Russ.
Stronger,
just not as accurate, maybe
bigger
as Russ was.
They have to maximize this schedule right now, though, because the end of the season's so brutal. Like, it's the hardest by, I think, like 5% or something like that by the next team.
Exactly. So while you take this chance and you see what you got in Russ, because if he does spark it, then you ride with him and you keep it going. But if he doesn't, then at least you can go back and get, built back up with Justin Fields before the tough stretches down later in the season. Like, and it's probably been talked about to both of them behind doors. Like, that's the thing too. And it's like, you're a starting quarterback. You don't get an ego right now until you earn your ego. So Justin Fields knows that. But like he said, right, his a day in his life is someone's dream, right? So they gotta make a wish, and they'll grant that wish.
He said make a wish.
Nah.
That's wild. That is wild. That's very wild. But hey, I support it. I just have to let you know it's really wild. All right, so I mean, like I said, if I'm TJ, I feel one way about this. If I'm everybody else, I'm kind of seeing it from the business side and the long term. But if I'm TJ, I'm like, forget this. What the f is this? Like, really?
Right? We
Because my team
rolling.
might feel the same way. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I got Justin Fields on my fantasy team, so I totally get it.
I don't
That's
anymore.
25 points I'm losing.
I don't anymore. I did have Justin Fields, and it's not a knock at him, but the way that they have him playing, it's just not conducive to big points in fantasy, and I need big points quarterbacks. I don't care if your team sucks. I just need you to have big points. All right.
I'll roll with whoever getting He got them feeties. He can run.
Yeah, even with the feeties, it wasn't stacking up to the other guys. So. All right, so our next thing here. So we're about every team's had 5-6 games, right? Depending on the team, right? Some had a bye, some haven't. But at this point in the season, guys, let's do a little different since we are a little thinner. We have a little bit extra time. Let's do one team that has surprised you positively so far this season, and one team that has surprised you negatively so far this season. And just to put this into terms so for people to understand where we're coming from. Record obviously is a big thing, but also how the team is actually playing. So maybe a team only has one win, but somebody thinks that it's a surprise, even with their record, because of how well they're playing. Record, obviously, the main thing, but if you see somebody go a little bit more left than you expect, it's probably because the team is playing a lot better than anticipated. So, Seb, we'll start with you for this one, my good man.
Yeah, of course, you know who I'm going to say for the team that's most surprising. My Broncos.
No. We would never expect you to say that, sir. We never expect you to say that.
Right?
Never.
Went on a 3-game winning streak. Went on a 3-game winning streak. We had a little stumble against the Chargers. But then we rinsed that out real quick with a quick turnaround Thursday night against the Saints, doing what was needed to be done. And that was a good time to have a game like that, honestly. They needed a chance to just go off and floss real quick, quite honestly. Like Bo Nix needed to break off, some double-digit yard runs and go out there and juke some guys and get – I'm telling you, man, they just needed to open up. And they started, too, at the end of the Chargers game. That Chargers game was just a little bit off. I mean, you saw from the get-go, Pat Surtain went out, and then, like I think who was it? Harbaugh went out. The coach went out. I think he went to take a dump, but whatever. The coach left. A couple other players got – it was a weird start to that game anyway, so it was a little bit off. They were riding high, and they got tripped up real quick. But then they got back on track, man. We're 4-3 right now. We're still third in the AFC. I guess that's behind the Chargers, behind the Chiefs. I mean, tell you what, might hear some news in a couple days. He's saying if Alvin Kamara come to the Broncos, I guess he denied the reports. I don't know. They got the reports. They said they got calls from like all these different teams, including the Chiefs and the Broncos. They're asking for a third and something else, which is very doable. And if Alvin Kamara comes here, him and Javonte and McLaughlin, man, that is a deadly trio of running backs right there, especially the way that Javonte is playing. And I wouldn't even mind bringing them over here. Honestly, they probably have to get rid of one of them, probably Javonte. But if we could keep all three, that could change our trajectory that much faster over here in the AFC West, which is not as lopsided as many would think it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying the Chiefs are, the Chiefs aren't world beaters. That's what I'll say. And the way our defense is playing, I don't care who you are. I'm not afraid to go up against any team right now. Because we see it. I mean, with or without Surtain too, they got their groove. I don't know. That's just my team. My surprise of the week, and I'm riding with it, man. We're on a roll when they got something going now.
We're doing a surprise for the season, not just the week, sir. But
the season, yeah. Surprise for the season, man. Like they're 4-3.
Who is your negative?
I I was gonna say the Jaguars, but they came out smashing right now. They are on one. Man, I'd have to say the Browns. They had so much promise. And then, I guess the Nick Chubb thing just kind of threw him out of whack altogether. You got Deshaun Watson saying he's not a running quarterback. And, if he wants to be there or not. They're trying to figure out ways to get rid of him, coming up with more reports. There's more charges coming out, this and that. And then they trade away their number one receiver.
Right.
Just like don't care for the season. So I have to say the Browns.
All right, TJ, what about you, sir?
Biggest surprise would easily be the Minnesota Vikings.
Oof.
Making a lot of fun of them with Sam Darnold. Picked, I'm pretty sure, either dead last or barely edging into third place in their not even a remote chance. But here they are, 5-0. Unfortunately for them, they do have a tough division this year. Everybody's either 4-2, 5-1, 5-0. Correction, Lions are 4-1. But they face them today, and if they beat the Lions today, that'll basically give them a 2.5 game lead on everybody else in the division. So it's a huge game later today with that. But they're definitely a big surprise. Biggest disappointment surprise, I'd say, sorry, Ohio, but I'm staying in there. Cincinnati. It's offensively, they've gotten better. They're not too far off anymore, but man, their defense, where is it? Where is it, man? They cannot stop anybody. And that would be a big surprise to me because honestly, I had them picked probably in the Final Four, if not, one of the Super Bowl. So that'd be my biggest disappointment.
All right, so for my biggest surprise, I kind of thought about this because I was like, I need to have about 3, right? Because whoever's who's going to get me for a lot of mine. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 4-2.
Dirty Birds.
They kind of rounding into form. Kirk is back to being a first cousin instead of a third or fourth cousin. So
Kirk go change.
The white Dak Prescott, as said by Amari Cooper, not me, has been playing better, has weapons. The defense has been playing really well as well, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people didn't think about with the additions that they had on the defensive side of the ball and what they already had there. This defense was poised to have a really good season, and they have. They played the Eagles, they've held them. A lot of teams have held the Eagles, but it's an explosive offense at times, and the Falcons held them pretty much in check, right? They played some other teams. They played shootout with Tampa Bay, right? They've had some games where you're like, oh, they're probably going to lose, and they've won. They've had a couple of games where you're like, oh, maybe they're going to win. They cut it out. But they're at the top of that division. And I think that we're only going to get better as they start to incorporate Kyle Pitts more into the offense, as they get Bijan Robinson going more. Drake London is having some really good games with Kirk Cousins, as he is a guy that will get the ball out to his number one receivers. So I think the Falcons are a team to be really proud of so far if you're a fan, and a team to watch out for if you're a lot of other teams in the NFC, because it's a team that will be there come playoff time.
I'll be there. I think if they played the Chiefs now, they'd beat them. Like with them figuring their team out, they'd win that game.
We have to say if they played the Chiefs and all things are neutral.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the Chiefs is nothing's neutral.
They should have won that game too, but whatever.
I'm just saying, when you play the Chiefs, nothing's neutral.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the referees can negate a big play by calling a penalty that probably happened, but that you wouldn't call if it wasn't the Chiefs.
Right. Yeah. Like so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird when they just decide to.
Oh, it's not weird, bro. It's expected. And I'm taking the easy way out on a disappointing team, but it needs to be said. So for my disappointing team, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. The reason I say it's taking a little bit out when you do that is because Miami does have the situation with Tua.
He's coming back next week.
Yes, he is. But if you were not prepping yourself for the possibility of Tua being out for an extended period of time, whether it was a concussion or some type of injury, then you have not been watching this man's career. And you let 1 year where he was able to stay healthy kind of cloud your judgment of his career as a whole.
When was
gonna
that?
Throw that out there.
When did he stay
last year
healthy?
he was healthy.
The whole year? Oh
yes.
Yeah. I didn't even follow. That's why because he's healthy, so no one talked about him.
Yes. And they were playing pretty well. So they weren't great, but they weren't bad. Like they were winning games, losing games, but they were in the playoffs and everything. So yeah.
Got him that contract.
You should have been prepared to have a guy as your backup that could come in and play. All right. We talked about, the first show, how they could have went and got guys like Jacoby Brissett, different guys that had a little experience, that have been starters, that can be spot starters for 3, 4, 5 games if needed. And the Dolphins just said, no, we're going to go in here with Tua because now that he had a healthy year and then he lost weight. You're fragile. You lose weight. It's never a good thing.
Well, they paid him like $800 billion, so they didn't have any money to pay anybody else.
They could have got somebody. They could have got a backup. There's teams that are paying more. The Dallas Cowboys have a better backup, and they're paying Dak Prescott the whole salary cap. You know what I'm saying? So you could have got somebody that could be a feasible backup. NFL teams have got to start understanding. When you have a quarterback, you want to have a guy behind him who can. You could have went and got try to get like a Fitzmagic or somebody, right? So many people you could have tried to get to be the backup, not come out and be your starter, but be your backup. And you choose to go a route with guys that aren't really prepared to take over, because this Dolphins team should not be 2-3 right now. They've had some injuries, but they've got Tyreek Hill. Come on, you get this man the ball, he'll do the rest, or you just throw it up and he'll go get it, even at his age right now. You've got other weapons on his team. You've got a stable of running backs. Even when somebody's hurt, you still got 2 or 3 running backs. This team should be better than 2-3. This team should be a team that you're looking at and saying they can win games, instead of looking at them and saying they're probably going to lose unless they're playing a team that's just as bad as them or worse. So, got to go with Miami for my disappointing team. Hopefully, they turn around this season. I don't know if they'll have an opportunity to make the playoffs, but maybe at least they'll have an opportunity to have a respectable season with Tua back. So that's where I'm going to go with that. So next, we're going to get to Ced's Happy Fist. And for those of you who may not be aware, on Thursday, October 17th, we had the Denver Broncos face off against the New Orleans Saints. Now, Denver played a good game, and Ced will give you details, as he already has. I'm sure he'll give you some more, because I'm sure he remembers like 50 plays he could talk about specifically. But I look at this Broncos team and I say, you handled business. So what I don't do is I don't get up here and say, you only beat the Saints because they didn't have the starting wide receivers or the starting quarterback, and they've got some people banged up on defense. The New Orleans Saints are an NFL team. They went out at the beginning of the season with 2-0 running over everybody. So this is a team that has the capability to play well. Are they playing well right now? Absolutely not. Is that Denver's fault that this is when they were scheduled to play them? Absolutely not. They went out and handled business and did what teams who want to get better do. I'm playing a subpar team. I am going to actually take my foot, put it on their throat, and I'm going to lean my weight on that foot, on said foot, and take it off the other foot and keep it on their throat. And that's what they did to the Saints. If you're a Denver fan, you love this game. If you're a Saints fan, you hate this game. If you're anybody else, you're probably more indifferent, unless you had players in this game playing. You're probably a little bit more indifferent. But byproduct of Thursday night football, a lot of the games just aren't good. And this wasn't a good game for the masses, for the public.
No.
But that's Thursday night football. Ced, would you like to go next or would you like to go last?
I'll go last. I'll let TJ. He wants TJ to gloat about it too. That over.
All right, TJ, on you.
I was very interested in that game for gambling purposes. Thank you for the over.
Almost.
No, man. I thought it was going to be maybe a little bit closer of a game, but still obviously higher scoring because I picked the over. But man, Denver just came and brought it. Bo Nix, love him or hate him, man. He's showing kind of like what I was saying about Justin Fields earlier. He's slowly but surely improving week to week with something. It's looking good. It's looking good. You know, it's looking like he could become a very good quarterback, you know, within the next, you know, maybe season, 2 seasons. He just has to get polished up. So that's a good look for Denver. Sean Payton, you know, you knew they were not going to take the foot off the gas because he wanted to give it to the New Orleans Saints. Don't know why he was the one that kind of chose to leave, but you know, hey, you know, anytime you see an X, you want to show them how much better off you are now. So it was just a really good all-around game for the Broncos and the Saints. Man, what has happened? I will say one thing though, I don't remember his name, but if Derek Carr's out for any more time, do not put Spencer Rattler in. Put the one that put the one that they did at the end. He was.
You mean you don't want you don't want to see Rich Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
I can't even, you know, I actually jumped on that wagon. I have a couple of his cards too, just in case he hit it big. So that was a waste of $5. But
I picked him up in a couple of leagues just in case.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you know, it was a good look for the Broncos, but you know, the Saints, man, they're just in disarray. Dennis Allen, man, he might be out the door before Christmas time at this rate. Who knows?
Yeah. I tell you what, man, it was not pretty, right? But I'll take 33 points. I don't care how you get it, because you're getting 33 points. You're usually in or winning quite a bit of games, right? Oh man, I'm telling you, the Jaguars just make rookies look just these. Whew, they got these rookies looking like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning out there. Drake made us do a touchdown.
Oh, it gives me the over in this one too. Oh.
But anyway, it wasn't pretty though, right? I mean, Bo Nix had 164 passing yards. Spencer Rattler had 172 passing yards, so technically he had more yards, right? He played better than Bo Nix. And that is great. When it started, I think I posted in our chat, one of the chats. I was like, oh, man. They're like the same team. Well, they didn't end up like the same team, right? It looked like the Broncos took the soul from the Saints and just did what the Saints do best and used it against them, because Javonte Williams finally went off. I mean, he wasn't Alvin Kamara going off, so he didn't have 200 yards, but he did have 88 yards, which is like the most he's had in, I don't even know, 3 seasons in the game. 2 touchdowns, first time he's had multiple touchdowns in the game. So I felt good about that, because I've been rocking with Javonte Williams in my fantasy, in my deep dynasty fantasy league. So because there are no running backs, so that shows you there are no running backs from rocking with Javonte. But I felt good about that. The defense, though, man. Top 5, top 4, top 3 defense right here. Like I said earlier, talking about my surprise. Like, I'm not afraid to go up against anyone with this defense anytime, any game, anywhere, because they're going to hold their own. They're going to hit you. And they're going to make you think twice about what you're doing. And, you know, you're going to get, 10 rushing yards from the number 2 leading rusher in the league, Alvin Kamara. Because they're going to put those hits on you and make you think twice about where you're going with the ball. Man, it was not the prettiest offensive game, but they did come through. Cody Barton, he had a defensive fumble recovery, I think it was, that he had for a touchdown. You know, they were just out there. The Broncos needed this game is what I'm saying. We needed a game to go out there and swag. I was hoping, we'd get our Panthers game or our Jaguars game, and that's what this game was. It was a game for them to go ahead and realize, like, yeah, we can go out there and we can play like the big dogs. And we can look like these other, younger players out here across the league as well, too. Bo Nix has a little bit picking up to do, man. He overthrew. I think he overthrew and underthrew 2 receivers at the same time. That was the weirdest thing. But he had a lot of off-platform throws where he wasn't setting his feet quite right. Just so I guess, feel like he was thinking run a lot during this game, and it was kind of throwing him off. So once that slows down and he can think between run and pass, like, and get his feet set or determine if he's going to take off, I think that'll change. But I mean, Pat Mahomes changed the game with that. Now you got all these quarterbacks wanting to do these flea flickers and like do all these off-platform, weird throws, which is not, if you're not good at it, don't do it. But if he can get that out of his repertoire, calm it down and really like play like a rookie and understand that he's not him yet, I think he'll be good. And I think we'll be good moving forward, especially if this defense keeps playing like they're playing. Vance Joseph trying to get another head coaching job, man. So we'll see.
All right, so we're going to go into our featured matchups for the week before we get into our rapid fire picks. So our featured matchups of the week, we have the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be one heck of a game, right? Detroit is coming into this game with one loss. Minnesota is coming into this game with no losses, right? 5-0 and 4-1.
Big dogs.
What's interesting is Big Sammy, is having a renaissance season for the Vikings. When you have Justin Jefferson as your number one receivers, makes that a lot easier, let's say. Detroit's hitting, man. You got two dudes that can get it done on the ground. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got David Montgomery, right? So you got two guys that are vicious. Vikings have one. You have two. Wide receiver, I mean, Tim Patrick has stepped up as your number 3. Jameson Williams is finally showing some life there, right? Amon-Ra doing his thing. So you got a lot of weapons. You got defense. You got a tight end, Sam Laporta. So you have a myriad of weapons. If you're Jared Goff, you had a perfect passer rating 2 games ago. You had a funny game against the Cowboys last week. And that's nothing to necessarily knock the Cowboys when I say this. You know, I love to knock the Cowboys, but 100% honest. They were not put in a position to be successful this year. So anyone thinking they were going to be successful with the position they were put in was being delusional. And I'm not saying that like to be funny, but you didn't make moves. You didn't try to get better. If you don't continue to get better in this league, you're going to fall behind the better teams. And that's what's happened. But this week, Detroit, Minnesota, this is probably, to me, one of the games of the year. One of the games we'll look back on at the end of the season and be like, that's a nominee for game of the year, more than likely. Minnesota has to lose their first game, but I'll be honest, I think it's going to be when they play Detroit in Detroit. I think this one in Minnesota's going to win. I think Detroit will win the second one. I think that's how we'll go with this, because by then teams will have figured some things out with Minnesota, because somebody's going to beat them. Now, I will play devil's advocate with myself. If Detroit finds a way to win this game, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go with Minnesota. Defense has been looking good as well. Detroit's defense had the setback with Aiden Hutchinson being out, so that's going to play a big role in their ability to do something to make Sam Darnold feel stressed and maybe have him revert more to the Sam Darnold we all know and love, and not this guy that we're seeing right now, for anybody but Minnesota fans. So I'm going to go Minnesota. It'll probably be a close game. I'm saying 7 points or less, but I'm going to go Minnesota. Sid, let's let you go in the middle here. Let's let TJ finish us out on this, because TJ is going to give us a better, fair analysis.
Well, this is like what? An unstoppable object meets an unmovable force, right? So we'll see. Detroit's going to try to run it down their throat. Minnesota's going to try to air attack and throw 90-yard, 200-yard bomb passes, perfect drop in the touchdown every time, right? So I think it's just a matter of who has the ball last, whoever outlasts who. If Detroit can control the clock or the time possession, I think they'll win. And for that reason, I think running trumps passing, so I'm going to go Detroit.
Okay, fair enough. I wanted the TJ to be last, right? Because me and Sid you've watched the show before. We're a little bit more passionate. We're a little more. We'll float toward our limbs a little bit more, right? TJ's more grounded, so we get y'all some good grounded actual thoughts here. TJ, what you got for the people? Unless it's involving the Steelers.
And Russ, let's ride.
Oh God. For me, this was a coin toss game. I mean, it's like you said, it's easily going to be should be one of the better games all season long that we get to see today. But the two big things for me is Hutchinson's injury and the fact that it's in Minnesota. For me, that tilts it. Like, it should be a close game. I wouldn't doubt it being a last-second field goal, maybe even some OT. Who knows? But I just feel like because of the injury and where the game's being played, I got to go with the Vikings because you really do get a boost when you're playing at home. So,
don't you know?
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, and then our second game that we're going to highlight here is going to be the Houston, Texas, traveling to Green Bay, the frozen tundras of Lambeau Field. It's getting cold out there too, because it's getting cold here. To play the Green Bay Packers. This is hard because I don't know the effect that playing in Lambeau is going to have on Houston, right? Because it's cold. Do I believe they have enough to get the job done? Absolutely. And I think at a point in your season, your team, you're ascending in the NFL. You're trying to let people know, like, don't play with us. Keep it real simple. Don't play with us. We are here to show y'all that we're one of those teams that you're going to say they them by the end of the year. Houston has everything to do that. They have the running game that Sid just talked about. Right?
I thought you were going to say Green Bay.
Green Bay can run the ball, but Aaron Jones is. I mean, it's not Aaron Jones. It's what you call it.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs is a guy who gets the job done at times, but I don't feel like they believe in him like they did Jones. It just doesn't feel that way. They're going to put this game squarely on the shoulders of Jordan Love, which is why he's starting in my league that I have him, because he's going to sling the ball a lot. But I think that the Texans require this win. And I'm not saying they have to have it or whatever, but they require it. They're looking at themselves and saying, here's a chance for us to go out and make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Green Bay, you lose this game, you lost to a 5-1 Texans team. You stayed in the game. You kept it close at home, even though you got the L. It doesn't really hurt them. But Texans lose, it's like, they're 5-2. They play Green Bay. They ran up to Green Bay. They had to play on the road, and they couldn't win the game, blah, blah, blah. So I think the Texans have a lot more motivation in this game. They're going to pound the ball. They're going to throw the ball as well, but they're going to pound that ball too, use their running game. They're going to attack Jordan Love on defense, and he's going to get him sometimes, but sometimes they're going to get him, as we've seen in all the games that he's played this year. So I think that the Texans will do enough to come out of Lambeau Field with a signature victory. I'm going Texans.
I like the Texans. I do. I feel like these teams are so similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a must win for both of them. And for the Packers, my reasoning, it's not a divisional game or conference game even, but they also do see the two top dogs, which they're not really far behind playing today. They're watching the Vikings, they're watching the Lions play today, and they know they still got a chance to be in that hunt. So they got to stack as many wins as they can. And a marquee win against the AFC top dog Houston Texans will carry a long way for motivation. Now, the Texans, they can't go in there and slop it up either, right? Like, they're rolling. I don't know. I think this just comes down to who wants it more. And Joe Mixon, and I think Damian Pierce is even back. So I mean, that Texans running game is gonna go all. Receivers, they both got a squad. They both got a roster of receivers. Well, at least Jaden Reed's pretty fire. But I think
Dobbs is looking a lot better too since he's quit the team and came back.
Romeo?
Yeah, he's looking better since he quit and came back.
And I mean, there's nobody on the injury reports. Well, I mean, Green Bay has some people questionable. I am going to go with the Texans as well, just because I like CJ Stroud better.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cool McCain and Sid Bayless have agreed on the game.
Yeah,
Market.
for different reasons, though.
Still agreed. Market. CJ, what you got?
Well, I was going to say Texans, but since both you guys said that, I think I should go Packers now.
Oh,
No, I think it's going to be a clean sweep. I think the Texans are going to come in. They're going to want it more. They're going to play better. You know, I also trust CJ Stroud way better. You know, D'Amico Ryans. You know, they're going to come in. They're going to want that signature win. It's probably going to be another close one. But I just, for some reason, I just feel like if it comes down to the wire, CJ Stroud, I can see winning the game. Jordan Love, I can see making that mistake.
Fair enough. All right. Our last in-depth matchup. But TJ, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. At the Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll go second and say we'll let you finish this one out.
Well, this one's kind of a little bit of a personal hatred towards the Ravens, but you know, I got to go Bucks. I mean, you know, personally, with the way they been playing, really for the most part, you know, it should be another game down to the wire. But I just see the Bucks defense being able to baffle Lamar Jackson a little bit. You know, at times this season, the Ravens have you know, looked unstoppable, but at other times, you know, they're going 3 and out. You know, I'm not saying they're gold or bust, but you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a good team, they're a great team, but I feel like the Bucks are going to roll in and just take care of business. You know, Baker Mayfield, I feel like he's going to come up clutch today.
Fair enough. All right, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. The one thing that we know that is consistent in the NFL that helps you win the game is running the fudging ball. And the one thing that Baltimore is going to do is run the ball. You can put a 9-man front, and of course I'm being ridiculous, but you can put a 9-man front on Baltimore, and they're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They've got, and I mean, I've said for so many years, I felt like that one piece that they were missing was, number one, they needed a number one receiver. Addison is that for this team. Addison's that, no doubt about it. Rashard Bateman has come alive when not asked to be the guy, but asked to be the guy beside the guy. So, you know, really good Robin, trashy Batman. So that's worked in their favor. 2 tight ends, right? They don't use Andrews or Lively as much as they have in the past, which is a testament to the growth of Lamar Jackson, because now he's reading the entire field and not just looking up the seams and out routes for his tight ends. If by some reason Tampa Bay decides they're just going to do everything in their power to stop the run game, Baltimore's going to kill you in the air now. And that, to me, makes this version of Lamar Jackson and this offense more dangerous than any we've ever seen, even in his 2 years as MVP. Because now not only is he still running the ball at a rapid pace when needed, because half the time he's just turning to give the ball to King Henry. He's saying, go do the work. I'll watch, big dog. Let go. Pulling the Russell Wilson. Let's ride. But he's also has a lot of opportunities himself to just say, you know what? Read and react. Real RPO.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, the term skips my mind. But he's reading and just reacting and saying, hey, if it's there, I'm going to give it to you. If it's not, I'm going to pull it and take it myself. And they're doing a good job of, even if it's those type of plays where they really want to run it, they have at least one receiver on a route so that if that doesn't work for either one, you have a hot read that you can go to. So Baltimore's doing a lot of things, I think, offensively to put themselves in a position to win. The defense isn't as good as it's been in the past, so they will give up points. But I think they're going to try to control this game through the run. They're going to, if they want to force them to win the game in the air, they're going to take it to the air, which they can do at a more proficient rate than I've seen them do in the past. And that, I'm really scared of this Baltimore team. If they continue to play this way, throughout the playoffs and up until we may see them in the Super Bowl. If the referees let them get there. Who you got said? We 1-1. Who you got said? You the tiebreaker, sir.
So crazy, man. It's so crazy. I feel like all these AFC, NFC games could be coin tosses, and you don't really see that usually. Like it's very, 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 very close and like competition across the conferences. Man, this game could go either way. On one hand, I'm hoping Mike Evans and Chris Godwin go off because for some reason I got them both on a fantasy team.
Wow.
But I also got Lamar Jackson on that same team too. So I just hope all of them go off. Let's have just a high scoring day. But yeah, I mean, if it comes down to running, I don't know. I mean, Baltimore does have King Henry, which is tried and true. Justin Hill coming off, and helping out every once in a while. And it's been really, really working for them as they pound their way to like number one in rushing yards and number one in yards, with Derrick Henry having more rushing yards than some teams have yards. So that's going to happen. But I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or I don't even know, Tampa Bay, or whatever it is. They got a squad over there too. They got 3 really good running backs, 3 decent running backs, whatever you want to call them. They got 3 of them that can all go off in a game, and they've found that out these past couple games. And then Baker, man, Baker's been out there looking like Lamar these past couple weeks, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into it too. He has his own little RPO. It's not even an RPO. It's just kind of if nobody's open, I'm running, and I'm hitting you. I'm putting my shoulder down. I'm running over you. Baker's hype down there, man. He's been good since he's gotten with this Tampa Bay team. So this could go either way, man. Shoot, I don't even know. I'll go. Where is it at?
It's in
Tampa.
Tampa Bay.
Then I'm going with Tampa Bay. Tampa Buccaneers.
All right, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have the early game on NFL Network. So there's that. So we'll need to pick that, right? So we'll pick the remainder of the games, and we'll pick the Thursday game for next week, rapid fire style. So first game, 3-3 Seahawks, 4-2 Atlanta Falcons. I'll go Falcons.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go can go.
I'll go Falcons.
Seahawks.
Fair enough.
Sea chickens.
All right. Then we've got the 1-4 Titans at the 4-2 Bills. Gonna go Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
I'm gonna go Titans.
Really?
At least one of us believes in
Well, what's his name? What's the quarterback's name?
Oh, Mason Rudolph starting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not beating the Bills though. Come on.
pretty much. We've got the 2-4 Bengals at the 1-5 Browns. I'm gonna go Bengals, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns upset them. And to me, it would be an upset, even though they're 2-4 and 1-5.
Bengals.
Mongols.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals too.
All right. Then we've got the 2-3 Dolphins at the 3-3 Colts. I'll say the Dolphins.
Oh,
TJ's taking the Colts. Who you guys said?
I'm gonna go Colts.
I figured y'all would both go Colts. I figured I'd do something a little different, see how it works out for me. Either it does or it doesn't. All right. We got the 3-2 Eagles at the 2-4 Giants. I'm gonna go Eagles, but I think this will be a close game because I'm just not blowing nobody out right now.
Giants defense is hitting right now. What are they like? Number 1 in quarterback pressures or something like that?
I don't know, but I know that they're not good against the run. somebody might have a little bit of a frustration they want to take out on the Giants. You may have heard of him. First name Saquon, last name Barkley.
Eagles are gonna soar.
I'm gonna go Giants. They got Malik Neighbors back. I don't know how it helps. I'm just saying they got him back.
Hater.
And Singletary's playing. He's gonna want to prove that he's the better running back with an S in his name for the Giants ever.
I don't know why he would want to lie to himself, but okay.
Well, today is his day to prove it, and he's gonna prove it. And they got Tyrone. You better call Tyrone. Tyrone been running all over the place. So they got a solid running stable to themselves there all of a sudden. Danny Dimes looking like Danny 15 cents.
He's definitely not. He's looking more like Danny Nichols.
Danny 7 cents.
Definitely. And I was being nice when I said Nichols. I actually talked to 5 Giants fans this week who called him Danny Pennies. So
Danny Pennies?
Danny Pennies.
Hey, pennies
I was being nice
dollars.
when I said Nichols. But you need 100 of them.
A penny saved is a penny earned, as they shall say. And if they run it every down, that's a lot of pennies you're saving.
If they run it every down,
I'm going Giants.
30. All right. 2-4 Raiders and 1-4 Rams. I'm going to go Raiders. A lot of times when you lose a good player for one game, you get the Super Saiyan boost to everybody's stats. That's this week. So I'm going to go Raiders.
What? Cooper Kupp's back, right? Where is he?
I don't know. I don't know.
Thought he was.
I'm so done with the Rams. I don't know. If he's back, he's probably still hurt. So I don't know.
He's questionable. Cooper Kupp unlikely to play. Oh, damn. I'm going to go Raiders, I guess.
I'll go Rams.
They don't got no wide receivers.
Man, the Raiders suck.
Yeah, they do. Right? I'm going Rams. I'm taking my pick back. I don't even know I picked
the Rams suck too. The Rams are 1-4.
I don't even know how to let myself say that. Bum ass Raiders.
Suck versus suck.
Yeah, right.
Hey, at least they're still playing for their coach, though. Man, the Raiders look like they're rolling over and dying already.
I don't know. I think they'll get a little boost this week. I think Davante Adams was a lot more of a poison, not necessarily on purpose, but I think he's a lot more of a poison than people realize just by acting like he was hurt because he didn't want to be there, right? And however that affects everybody else. I think that when you remove, I don't think he was going around bad mouthing anybody or anything, but I think one of those guys that the coach was talking about was definitely Davante Adams. So I think when you remove that from the locker room, you can gel a little bit more. 1-5 Panthers at 4-2 Commanders. You play the Panthers, I'm picking you unless you're the Browns or maybe the Raiders or maybe right now the Rams. So Commanders.
Yeah.
The Panthers got to be due for another win sometime, but it's not this week. Commanders.
Maybe not.
They already used up all their wins for the season.
Unless they call the Chiefs and figure out what referees to pay it. I don't know. Speaking of the Chiefs, 5-0 Chiefs, 3-3 49ers. The 49ers really need this win, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a 425 game against the Kansas City Chiefs and the 3 referees that they do pay. So I'm gonna go the 14 players that the Chiefs have beating the 11 players that the 49ers have on the field on offense and defense.
I'm going 49ers because the Chiefs suck.
But the refs don't. Them extra 3 ain't no joke.
Can't beat the rest though.
I know what I should bet on, but I'm going with the 49ers too.
The 49ers.
If I'm wrong in this one, I'll be happy. But I just don't see the referees letting it happen. 8:20 p.m. We've got the 2-4 Jets at the 4-2 Steelers. Davante Adams in the building. Aaron Rodgers is feeling good.
That's right.
So he realizes that he got his coach fired a couple of weeks ago, and now he's got an interim. Probably doesn't like him either because he's
Don't
not letting
matter.
him
He
do
the
whatever he wants
coach.
to do. Well, he's not coaching the defense, that's for sure. They're playing well. So I'm going to go Steelers because I believe that they will get a boost, the Jets, but the Steelers are very good on defense. Aaron Rodgers is prone to turnovers. We know he's going to force it to Adams. We know that the Steelers are going to be ready for that because the Steelers are always prepared on the defensive side of the ball. They may be able to overcome a Russell blunder or two because the Jets are going to give them just as many back. I'm going to go Steelers.
Jets.
What? Nah, you didn't say that.
He did.
Jets.
I know why he said it.
I remember I had 1 week. I had 1 week I picked against the Broncos too, and they won. That's when they beat Tampa Bay.
That was a big win for them too. That was a big win. Nobody can take that win away from them.
Yeah, that surprised me. That one got me.
Yeah. The Jets. I mean, I'm going Jets too, but the Jets. It's gonna be that week, right? Aaron Rodgers had one good game. What was that? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? And this is the week he has his second good game of the season. Because now he got his quarterback. He got his baby back.
His baby back ribs.
His baby. Okay. Got his baby.
Hey, baby. So ESPN Plus, 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday night. First one, we already talked about Ravens and Bucks. But the second one that I'm not going to be watching, because I'll be watching Ravens and Bucks because it's a much more interesting game that I would care about. The 3-2 Chargers at the 2-4 Cardinals. And I just want to say, I said this at the beginning of the season. This was not going to be a good game because the Chargers are going to dominate the Cardinals. This is the week of or the week before the launch of the new Call of Duty. And I know the beta's already out because I got a friend that's playing. I know a couple of my buddies that are playing it. So, yeah, we started to see Kyler Murray fall off now that, his attention is drawn elsewhere. Even his sippy cup and fruit snack in between series is not going to work moving forward. Chargers.
Oh, wow. What's going on?
COD.
Tank Bigsby going off.
I have some intel that the Cardinals blocked Murray's accounts since the release, so I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Yeah. And my boy playing. His head may hurt, but it don't hurt that much. He lead all rookie receivers in touchdowns because they are doing what they can to make sure he scores touchdowns. And that's Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm gonna go Cardinals. Okay. And the Chargers suck. So
yeah, Chargers, man. If you drop 20 points on them, you're winning that game.
Yeah. So
that's a lot to ask, though, right? You're gonna ask the Cardinals to actually score 20 points.
They can sporadically.
Harrison Jr., man, come on.
Yeah. And Trey McBride, man.
I mean, Harrison Jr. can get it done. I'm putting a double team on Harrison Jr. out the rip, though, right? Like I'm seeing him
Trey
coming.
McBride gonna go off.
Trey McBride, you put the other corner on him. Let's go. Let's ride.
Then they go run with big man Cooper.
Yeah, but
they got a squad, man.
They have a squad. But, they just don't impress me.
Didn't they just beat somebody that was good to beat?
They beat somebody and they turned around and got whooped again. They had that 1 week peak, and then they went back to being who we thought.
Yes, either do.
8:15. Yep, 8:15. Prime Video Thursday night. This is either going to be a banger because everybody's going to miraculously come back, or it's going to be ugly. We got the Vikings at the Rams. Unless the Rams can pull Nakua and Cooper out, get both of those guys out there, I don't see them winning this game. And as well as a miraculous book of defensive tackling and rushing the passer plops down in the middle of their practice and opens and infuses all of the defensive line with a understanding of how to do that better. I don't see them winning the game. I'm going Vikings.
Yeah. Maybe this is like, what, 2017, 2018? I go Rams. I'll go Vikings as well.
Yeah, Vikings.
He said if this was 2017 or 2018.
Right.
And I love it. I do love it. All right, people. Any last words said? Any last words? TJ, any last words before we roll about the scene for the week?
Damn, what if Sam Darnold goes undefeated?
That's not happening.
No. I mean,
not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
I mean, according to you guys, they're winning the next 2 games, so that's 7-0.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's
not gonna go undefeated.
Today's a coin toss, and the Rams. I mean, the Rams are the Rams.
Right, the Rams be ramming, and that's a no Diddy definitely.
No Diddy Sunday.
Yes,
no
sir.
Diddy Thursday.
Games,
no Diddy any day of the week. No Diddy all week and weekend.
You gotta stop saying his name. Can't give him any airplay.
Sir, he's getting airplay, whether we say his name or not.
Well, he's getting some kind of play.
He's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good day of football.
Oh boy.
Yo, I'm getting.
I think that bumped the show up to TV 14 for the day.
As long as you don't come talking about some, what you say, Playboy?
Oh man.
We'll still stay in the fair range. TJ, any last thoughts, man?
Man, just another great day of football. Let's go.
Eagles, if y'all don't beat the Giants, I will encourage everyone to tune into Eagles Elite. It will be very enjoyable and entertaining to watch. For TJ.
Yeah. Yo.
Go ahead.
Come watch me tonight at 7:30. Fantasy Reports. We'll be reviewing all these games.
All right.
There's
that. Also, for Shady Sports Network and for Sports Waves Network, if you're watching us on Sports Wave, please make sure you go over Shady Sports at Shady Sports Network on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're watching us on Shady Sports, go to YouTube at Sports Wave Network. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe from both of those wonderful channels. And never forget, it's never where you start. It's always where you finish. Well, people, we will see you next week